what wakes you up? What gets you up in the morning? What makes you get out of bed, get out of the house, and go to wherever it is that you are right now? What gets you up in the morning, man? It's a very important question that we need to answer. Today, though, our guest is a manager. You know, people that take pride in their titles and managers and everything else. He's well suited out, I must say. Pun intended right there. For the position that he is holding. He is the student support manager at the Southwest Gauteng College. As you do know, we have dedicated Tuesday and Wednesday to speaking to Southwest Gauteng College. Getting to know more, the community, getting to know what they are about and what it is that they do. But in our very first episode, there was a bit of a confusion around the role that the SRC plays and the role that the student support services plays. And I think over the last 2 weeks or so, we've been getting to understand, the difference that the two roles do have. And today I am, as we said, Mr. Tshepo Madubung, he is the manager within the student support services at Southwest Gauteng, appointed by the Department of Higher Education. He's been in this post for the last 4 years or so. Hotman.
Thank you very much.
Nagathola memo. They should have told me so.
Yeah, no, it's for the position.
Okay, man.
No, I'm okay.
Oh man. Now, here. Let's just start here quickly. Student support services. As you said, you are appointed by the Department of Higher Education. Now I'm confused because I always just thought you guys are appointed by the college. Okay, why and how did that appointment come about?
Thank you very much for the invitation and good afternoon to the listeners. We are appointed by the Department of Education Training and we are based at colleges. I am based at Southwest Gauteng College, as you have said.
Sure.
I joined the college probably 2010 and then by 2011 I then joined the Department of Basic Education. I came back to the system in 2012. The position that I am holding now, I got to be appointed this year permanently.
Sure.
So that is as is.
When you say you went and joined the Department of Basic Education, are you a teacher by training?
No, I was not a teacher. I was not a teacher. I was actually a general supervisor in one of the primary schools around Soweto called Mahorane Primary School.
But then when by training, when you matriculated, what did you go study for?
I have qualified under human resource management.
Oh, HR manager. La.
Yeah.
Triple S, as it is known on campus, student support services. When you are appointed by the Department of Higher Education, what do they say to you? Tshepo, go to that college and do what?
Thank you very much for the question. You see, student support services is the core heart of the college. The department expects me to render all the services necessary to students to make sure that the stay of the students is very much peaceful and supported.
Sure.
I will tell you why. Everything or every system needs a support. So we are that engine within the Southwest Gauteng College that must make sure that students' issues, everything actually that has to do with students. Normally I respond to these questions and I say to people when they ask, what is student support? I'm saying student support is anything and everything that has to do with students.
Sure. So you are there basically just for the students?
Just for students.
Students?
Yes. That is my core responsibility.
But now, when students elect a representative council in the form of a SRC, and I've been asking this, you're the third person, from SWGC that we've had in, and I've been asking this question, isn't there conflict in terms of duties or interest or anything like that? Because as you say, when you are there purely for the students, to give students support and everything else, but here there are students, the very same students that you're there to support, they go and elect a representative council.
Yes. They are within the student support services, there's what we call student representative council.
Okay.
The student representative council is the council that represents students.
Sure.
if you're talking about the election, you're talking about the process that must be undertaken for us to make sure that we have SRC within the college or within campuses. So what happens is we coordinate that activity.
Oh,
It is by law. It is according to what we call CET Act that the SRC must exist or should exist within the institution. So the role of the SRC is actually the mouthpiece of students.
Sure.
It's actually the mouthpiece of students. So there is no conflict there. There is no conflict. SRC is under the office of the Student Support Services. Yes. So each and every campus is expected, of course, to have the SRC in different campuses, and then ultimately we come up with the college SRC.
On a day-to-day basis, your role as a student support services manager, what does that entail? What are just some of the other things that you got to do besides just giving support to the students?
Thank you very much for the question. You see, the role of student support is very huge.
Sure.
It's very huge. Sometimes you plan to go to your office and then attend to, other areas where maybe you need to prepare reports for the departments and meetings. But when you get to work, you are now faced by a different situation, maybe coming from a campus or something like that. I'm actually heading this unit, which has about 22 people inside that they report to me. 22 people. You can imagine. 22. So my role in that is to make sure that those 22 people, remember, I am based at head office.
Yeah.
So the 22 people are based at campuses. So those
and
are
head
the
office
Mlapo, ne? Yes, head office is based at Mlapo. So my responsibility is to make sure that those people who are at campus, they are rendering what I am supposed to render at a central point.
Sure.
So they are at the call phase. Everything and anything, they are there.
All right.
They are there.
Now, when we look at in terms of the responsibilities and everything else that these guys do have at the college and all of that, my question comes down to this: is that the Department of Higher Education, as big as it is, that one department, their involvement especially in resolving the issues that you guys do come across. How involved is the Department of Higher Education, or is it just an appointment and then
No. Remember, they play a very big role.
Sure.
And in every organization, you should remember that there are processes and there are protocol that needs to be observed for anything that needs to happen. I don't want to lie, the department is very supportive.
Yeah.
Because without them, we will not be able to survive based at colleges or based at campuses. So the support, it's good.
Yeah.
The support is good, I can tell you. Anytime where you are experiencing challenges there and there, you're able to contact the department where it's relevant. Where it's not relevant, you should be following the right processes, protocol.
The just going on, in terms of some of your roles and everything else that you guys do face at college, how involved is your office in terms of student recruitment or recruiting of new students to the college?
Remember, that is coordinated by marketing.
Marketing of the college.
Yes.
Okay.
Marketing will go out and recruit students So our role there is to actually indicate to students or to prospective students what services are we rendering a student support unit. Remember, the main aim is to have students ultimately. So we need to be saying, if you join SWGC, these are the services that you will get as a student from student support services across all sides.
So, I mean, what I'm trying to get to is, as much as, the marketing department of the college has to do the marketing and everything else and all of that, but do they involve you guys in marketing it? Because as a marketing department, we've got to sell what you guys do have, or we've got to sell the services that you do have there. And who better but you, to say, this is the student life at SWGC. As a student, these are the activities that are open to you as a student. Whatever challenge that you will face, this is how we will assist you and all those kind of things. So hence I'm asking you, in terms of your involvement or your office's involvement within the recruitment of prospective students to the college.
Yeah, thank you very much. We are part of marketing.
Yeah.
There is no way marketing will go out without saying to us, guys, this is time for us to go out to community and recruit students. So we are part and parcel of the process of recruiting students within the college. Hence, we go to a point, like you just alluded now, hence we go to a point of saying to these prospective students, if you join SWGC, this is what we have in store for you.
Now, there's one thing about students, and I mean, students, young people also, we are attracted by a certain vibe, you know? So we'll always just ask, hey man, what's the life like? Is there life, you know, on campus? Or am I going into a library? That question, as much as I understand, you know, fun and having all these fun activities, it is not the core business of the college.
That's correct.
But you still need to have, you know, some sort of, you know, entertainment, not even entertainment to say, but there needs to be some sort of activities that compels me as a student to stay on campus and socialize with the other students.
Yeah, no, we do have such activities. We do have what we call Freshers Ball.
Yeah.
You know, that's where everybody is, including myself. Sure. Yeah. And then at different campuses, we have Master and Miss Campus. Ultimately, we have Miss College. And of course, within the course of the year, we have sports activities in between. You know, we have all these activities. Yeah. Somewhere students will come, you know, with the initiative of having debates. Students will come with initiative of having women empowerments, dialogues, and so on. So we have those things within our different campuses.
And it is obviously encouraged, you know, from your side that students need to be coming up with whatever kind of activities that they want to come up with.
That's what we need. Remember, we will not, as a unit, of course, we'll come up with an annual plan of the activities that need to happen within the institution. But of course, we give space or a room for students, for them to be able to come and suggest, to say, I think if we do this, we will do this.
Yeah.
I think if we do this, we will do this, so that they feel part of us. You know, it's not all about telling them what needs to happen, but we also give them space for them to come up with ideas and then we implement.
Sure. Okay.
Tell
you what we're going to do, man. I'm going to take a bit of a break, but here's the one question that I want us to come back to, that of financial aid and the finances and all this kind of as he cringes. I know it's quite a cringing one, you know. And finances and financial aid is it's a big problem, you know, when it does come to tertiary institutions and colleges and all those kind of things. So as I said, you know, we're going to take a bit of a break. We'll come back and get straight into that question there.
The only show that brings you the truth from real people on touching issues. The Open Book on K Radio, radio for the people.
The man who once ran for a presidency of Haiti, Wyclef Jean, that is, alongside Claudette Ortiz. Two wrongs have never made a right. I know the mathematical equation says that two negatives make a positive. Mara, in life, are you ready? It is the Open Book right here on K Radio, radio for the people. My name is Pops, and I'm joined in the studio by Mr. Madubung. His middle name is Max.
No, I haven't.
Okay, sure. Sharp.
Yeah, the Max issue.
Yeah. Where's home?
I'm actually coming from Northwest.
Kai.
Kopela ePhatsiman. That's where I'm coming from.
Thank you.
Yeah, but we must try to accommodate everything.
Yeah, man. In case you just joined us, man, we are talking student support services, particularly at the Southwest Gauteng College. Now, the missions of the student support services is to promote, you know, student development and to give support resources and measures, you know, central to students' institutional needs, that is, on the campus. And you've actually highlighted, Tshepo, you know, that some of your key areas of performance is SRC, Student Representative Council, Sports, Arts and Culture, Financial Aid Support, Psychosocial Affairs, Resource Center, and all those kind of things. So the SRC, we've kind of just dealt with that. Yeah. What the SRC is, as a student support, you guys are involved within the election and all those kind of things. And contrary to popular belief, and I must have been guilty of that belief, the SRC is under Student Support Services, right? It's not an autonomous body at any means. They fall under this triple S, as it is known on campus, but it is Student Support Services, right? And SRC elections are annually. They get given a 12-month
yes. A term of office.
yeah, 12-month term of office. So that's what they do have. Now, financial aid. Let's go to them. We'll come back to sports, arts and culture and everything else. Financial aid support. All right. The question that I have, or the first question that I have around that one is this. SWGC, it's a no-fee institution. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah. You see, if we say no fee,
Sure.
we maybe need to start by saying the government last year introduced fee-free education.
True.
Now, in fee-free education, there are different understandings, from different people. Some would say fee-free means you don't have to pay school fees and so on and so on. But I'm saying we have a financial aid, which is National Student Financial Aid Scheme, that is NSFAS.
Yeah.
We also have what we call Gauteng City Regional Academy, which is a GCRA. So with regard to the issue of NSFAS, remember they have their own processes on how you access these funds. And one of the processes currently is that the students are applying directly to NSFAS. That's what we call a student-centered model. That's where students are applying. So all of us will apply to NSFAS, and NSFAS will then say to college, I'm giving you this allocation for you to be able to assist these students with their allowances as well as the tuition. But we also need to understand that we are guided by documents and policies within the very administration of these public funds. It does not mean automatically when you enroll at SWGC, you automatically qualify for NSFAS.
Sure.
The department was saying, if your threshold income is between, let's say, 250 going down,
Okay.
declare within the institution to say, my annual income or household income is below 250.
1,000, that is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we'll be saying, we are advising you to apply for funding from NSFAS.
If you are coming from a household where the
250 going down.
yeah,
Yeah.
where the income is 250,000.
Now these students will assist them to apply. Of course, this system you can apply anyway.
Yeah.
You can apply anywhere, home, wherever you can apply. So at the NSFAS will be saying to us, fine, from your institution we have about 10,000 students who have applied. Here is the list of those students that applied. Please confirm if these people are indeed enrolled.
Sure.
Our role from the college will have to confirm and say 250 or whatever number from that list, it is true that they've enrolled with us. Then they say allocate them allowances if they qualify.
What's the qualification process?
There's what we call NSFAS guidelines.
Sure.
Within the very document, it says to us, students who are residing within 10-kilometer radius should be considered for transport allowance. So that is the criteria that we are actually using. Imagine if a student is staying 500 meters away from a college and that student qualifies for allowance. You could imagine what would happen in South Africa. You could imagine. So that is the processes that we are expected to adhere to as institutions. Not only SWGs, but all colleges. All colleges are expected to actually apply that document.
So what are they saying? Okay, so the first one is students that stay 10 kilometers or further away from the institution, they will qualify for transport assistance.
Allowance, yes.
Obviously, those within the 10-kilometer radius, I mean, it really just doesn't make sense. You can walk to school. But now my question comes down to this, and I hope you'd be able to answer this one, is from an institution point of view. I know particularly in schools, they will look when they do their intakes, they will say no, but you are not within our feeder system, or you're not within our radius and all those kind of things. As a college now, do you just find yourself in a situation where you are accepting students from anywhere? Hence, you'll find yourself in a situation where you've got a student that stays 100 kilometers away from the institution coming there, rather than referring them to institutions that are closer to them.
Thank you very much for that question. It is like that.
Yeah.
Where we receive or where we get applications from students who might be coming from Rustenburg, Limpopo, Eastern Cape, and so on. But remember, we have no point where we are allowed to say, no, you can't enroll with SWGC. But our role is to advise this particular student and say, if you are coming from Northwest, for argument's sake, there's Orbit.
There are other TVETs.
Yes, can't you consider Orbit? But one of the technical part you would find is that Orbit might not be offering this particular program that this student is actually looking for.
Yeah.
That might be one of the dynamics. But there are, variety or different dynamics around that. Because in other areas, you find that the family is relocating.
I mean, when a family relocates, we understand. But in the fact, as you say, student is coming from Rustenburg. Family is there. They will come to Florida or to Rodiport because Rodiport West is there and I want to do engineering. But aren't there institutions that I'm passing on the way? And hence, I kind of just gave that reaction when you said you guys are not allowed to say no. It doesn't make sense where I'm sitting that you would be forced to, let's not use the word forced, but I mean circumstantially. Yeah. As an institution, you can't turn the student away. But the department then, in this instance, needs to step into place and say, all right, SWGC, how many students have you had applying to your institution that are not within a 20-kilometer radius, for instance? And let's look at that, take those stats and say, oh, okay. So if you guys are constantly having applications from Rustenburg to come and do music at Dobsonville or to do whatever, to do catering or to do engineering and all those kind of things, let's have institutions around that area that would cater to them.
Yeah, but remember, the very dynamics that I just mentioned now, it's something that you will not at any given stage run away from. We don't need to be seen as an institution of returning students.
Got you.
When people are coming through and we say, no, we can't enroll you because of this particular situation. But what we are trying to do is to say, if we are going to enroll you, please look into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that might impact on your studies or something like that. Because we don't want students to be coming from different places, come and enroll with us, and then within a short period of time, they decide to disappear because they have more challenges than what we thought.
Okay.
So our role will be, like I indicated, to advise this particular student to say, we know that there's Orbit, and Orbit is offering this particular program. Yeah. Would you mind if we contact Orbit and say to Orbit, do you have space for this particular student who is actually coming from Northwest but currently is here in Johannesburg? So we see it fit that you go Rustenburg and stay and study closer to your home. But otherwise, it's a constitutional right to study anyway.
And this is where your pre-entry program just kind of comes in, where on application you guys are able to look at these kind of things and say, hey,
this is the issue.
Rather just go to that place. Okay.
Yeah, remember, especially when coming to recruitment and everything, we want the best students ever. We want cream of the crop, because imagine a situation where SWGC will receive 100 applications, and then only to find that from the 100 applications, 70 of them, they are not residing within Gauteng. We are left with 30.
Yeah.
Then what would happen to those students? And when they go back to Rustenburg or Limpopo or something like that, they are telling them to say, we have reached our targets.
Sure.
So those particular students, they will be left in between where we have referred them and where SWGC is. So we are saying, come, we will advise. That's what we are saying.
When you talk of targets, are you guys given targets yearly in terms of how many students you've got to have?
Yes, we are.
What's the intake for SWGC?
In my position now, I don't have the accurate state in terms of that, but we are sitting at 14,000 students enrolled.
It's for all 6 campuses?
Yes, 14,000.
And does that include, all of your programs, NCV and NATED?
You are correct. NCV and correct.
Yeah.
Actually, remember now, very soon, or currently, we are enrolling for semester 2, trimester 3,
sure.
and so this 14,000 would automatically go up. So imagine.
So it's 14,000 as we sit here now, but you are taking. Yeah. There's another intake that is currently happening.
You are correct.
Yo.
So remember, within the very same 14,000, you might find there are students who maybe were doing semester 1.
Yeah.
They will automatically progress to semester 2 if they academically excelled. So we are playing around. We are a very big college, I can tell you. We are a very big college. So imagine now we are sitting at 14,000. It's possible that this number will go up, and we are expected to actually retain the very number and pass students.
I want to touch on challenges here quickly, just before we get back to the other areas. You mentioned that within your department, 22 staff members is what you have under your leadership. 22 staff members, 6 campuses, 14,000. Let's do the maths, Moreno.
Yeah.
But between the Department of Higher Education and the college, what are they saying with regards to that number?
You see, I will tell you, I always say to people, the number that we have within Student Support Unit is not actually the number that we are actually looking for, in terms of staff members. But the as small as we are, as a unit, sure, we are even performing bigger than what people thought.
No, yeah, sure. I mean, it obviously speaks at the dedication of your staff members and everything
exactly.
else. But at some point we burn out.
We are.
You understand?
True.
At some point you burn out. You end up doing 3, 4, 5 people's workload and all those kind of things. And hence I say that when the department says SWGC, I want you guys to hit 20,000, and here's student support services, but we are understaffing those services. It doesn't make sense.
True. We are actually looking into increasing,
sure, the
unit on its own because of the number of students. We are growing. We are a growing college, and everybody can tell. I mean, sitting at 14,000, and we are about 22. Somebody would say, but your maths is not maths.
Yeah.
So we are looking into increasing the staff within the unit as a college.
Sure.
But what impresses me the most and what makes me sleep even on weekend is that we have these staff members which are not saying this is Saturday.
Yeah.
This is 4 o'clock. This is my time. This is my family time. Of course, they deserve to have family time. True. Of course, they deserve to have everything. But I don't remember at any given point one says to me, but this is Sunday, I need to go to church. If need be that on Saturday, on Sunday, we need to converge somewhere and do this, we do that.
Well, kudos to your staff, man. Kudos to your staff. Another area that you do take care of is the psychosocial affairs of the students and all those kind of things. Care just to give us more information on that one?
Thank you very much. With regard to psychosocial affairs, we are actually dealing with so many things in it. You can think it's a department on its own. There's what we call HATES.
Okay.
HATES, it's a national program. It's a national program through the Department of Education and Training that seeks to develop and support the HIV and AIDS, the STIs, the TBs, and health matters in general. And then within the very same side of HATES, we have what we call peer educators. Those are students. It's a voluntary thing. Yes, those are students. So when we talk about the issue of HIV, for example, where we need to mobilize students and then they get that education around HIV and AIDS, we use those students to mobilize students. Yes. And we do a lot of things, I can tell you. If you come to our campuses, you'll find we have also partnered with the likes of City of Johannesburg, different regions, different organizations that deals with the health part of it.
Sure.
In that, I can safely say and happily say this year we were awarded a certificate by the National Department of Higher Education and Training for utmost performance as SWGC for health and wellness.
Well,
national certificate.
Yeah. No, well done to you guys. Well done to you guys in terms of the work that you're doing there. Another thing, and I don't know, and I hope it is not an issue at SWGC, is I was reading an article the other day. Students and teachers and lecturers and students having relations. I truly and honestly hope that it's not an issue at SWGC, but if it is, something that is there, how are you guys dealing with that, from a student support services point of view, this thing of lecturers and students having relations?
Yeah, your question is a bit easy. It's a bit easy. But remember, when students are coming to college, we are their parents.
Got you.
I'm their brother, they are my younger sisters. So we as student support, we forever condemning that, to say if this is happening, it should not happen. If you see me as Tshepo, look at me as your uncle. If I look at you, I must see you as my younger sister. So we condemn such, and we forever saying if it's happening, it should not happen.
But now, are there other programs that you guys are having, to educate, not necessarily to educate, but to sort of cultivate that, that whole culture that we're a family right here and all those kind of things. The reason why I say so, Tshepo, is you get a student that is vulnerable for whatever
reason.
Right? Student is vulnerable. Here's a teacher who's going through their own things, Libon. And it's, I take advantage of the situation, my own selfish needs and all those kind of things. So clearly there's got to be conversations both ways, where we're having conversations with the teachers, with the lecturers, with the management, and we're also having conversations with the students.
Yeah, it's a project that we are actually working on as student support, to bring everybody on board. If I can say to you, if you go around our campuses now, there are 2-3 posters that speaks to what we are saying now.
Yeah.
To say if this is happening, you are sure of this, or you are suspecting that this is happening, report this to management, which is the campus manager, myself as the student support manager, or any other person that you feel comfortable, to open up to. It is true that there are so many dynamics, around the life that we are living in. But I'm still saying, and I will keep on saying, when I look at them, they must see me as a brother. Because I will not teach my wife. I will not teach my wife. Imagine if I have 5 girlfriends inside one class. And all of them, they tend to know that I am dating all of them. What would be the situation? And somehow it might end up compromising the teaching that should be given to the entire class. You understand? Because I no longer have confidence to stand before them. Because this one sent me a message and say, if you jump,
that's what I do.
Yeah. I'm going to bend your fingers.
Yeah.
This one says the same thing. So your work on its own gets to be compromised. So if I go there and stand before them, and if I'm saying no, and my no has, basics and support as well, let it be the case.
College policy, I would love to believe that it is very strict and clear in terms of
clear on that. It's clear on that. Even on student code of conduct, it is clear on that.
Okay.
It is clear on that. We will not allow that to happen. If that is happening, inform us. Right measures should take place. We will not teach people that when they stand before us, we see them as girlfriends or we see them as boyfriends.
Yeah.
But we are saying everybody who comes within the institution is there to learn and be. Our role is to make sure that these people, they are ready for the industry. That is our role. So how do I make sure that this particular individual is ready for
I'm having other relations with them?
That's where the problem comes in.
His name is Tshepo Madubung, a student support services manager for Southwest Gauteng College. He is based at the head office out in Molapo, Soweto. Moving on to the other one, sports, arts and culture. I think as K Radio, as K Media, Vusi Gula has kind of like become, he's become part of the furniture. He's forever here. He's forever. And by the way, last week we were actually just speaking to him, around, his portfolio, sports, arts and culture and everything else. They've got plans.
True.
We've got plans. Great, exciting plans, and unfairly so from my side, I threw a comparison of varsity sports and where it is right now. And then when you look at the TVET colleges, where it is right now, the lack of support for you guys. I mean, varsity sports, you look at the sponsors that is going on right there. Besides the TV rights, besides the fact that all of those games are getting televised and everything else, but the sponsorship that is there, and then when you look at it on your side as well, lack of support. What are you guys doing around that, to garner the support that you guys do need, both financial and resource-wise?
Yeah, you see, in terms of let's start with the first one. In terms of funding, remember each and every department would be allocated a specific amount of money to spend for the entire year.
By the way, that allocation is coming from a college.
Yes.
So college looks at, okay, this is how much we have, this is our pot, and we're going to divide it.
You're right. So I don't want to believe that much we are struggling in terms of the funding. Maybe what we can be saying is to say we need to go to a level of expanding from where we are now, but of course looking at how universities are. We will not say we are at the point where we need to be. It's work in progress. It's work in progress. As you proceed, there's somewhere where you'll get humps, we get potholes and so on. So in terms of the resources, it also links with the issue of funding. I will tell you, for example, you go to other institutions and then they might have a separate space where they have courts, where they have soccer field. It's something that we are working on. We have proposed to management to say, how possible is that as an institution we are able to own a particular space, where we have all these things that we need to have. That's what I'm saying. We it's work in progress. It's not something that we will achieve overnight. It's something that we're actually working on. But in terms of the activities around that, I think we are 50%.
Yeah,
I think we are 50%.
Look, I mean, as a department, and I mean, we're very fortunate enough, that we got sent the calendar for the year and all those kind of things in terms of what you guys want to do. But I want to ask this in terms of from a resource point of view. Let's take Mulap. Where the campus is, are you guys speaking to the community? Are we speaking to municipality, around there, the councillors and everything else? That, okay, as a college, we may not have space, but there's a sports complex, or there's an open ground somewhere that can be developed for the broader community, because I mean the college is there for the community.
True.
So let's develop the space right here, which the community will use, but it'll also be open and beneficial for everybody else. Are those conversations being had?
True. Like I said, it's work in progress. We're working towards that point. But currently, what is happening is you look at the likes of Muletsane Sports Complex. Yeah, those are the spaces that we normally use. You look at there's our sister college, SWGC, where we normally go and have these sports activities. So, like I'm saying, we are in discussions, internally, so as an institution, to say what is it that we can do best, especially when coming to the issue of fields and. But I can tell you something that most people will not believe, or most people will believe, that we have what we call goal ball within the institution, where students with disabilities are able to play with or compete with other institutions where those students are enrolled. Guess what? Some of them are totally blind, and they are able to play that particular sporting code. So in other areas, yes, we might be moving, a bit slow, but there's somewhere where I think we are accelerating. We are doing good, and if we are doing good, why are we not applauded?
I got you. I'm just going to be silly here. Let me just misbehave for a while on sports. Don't you think that you guys should have maybe looked at 1 or 2 sporting codes and focused on that? Driven all the attention on that and everything else, because I mean you have a very wide and by the way, a lot of the questions that we were getting last week from the students was, can we get the sporting code being included in all those kind of things and whatever it may be. But should we not have looked at 1 sporting code or 2 sporting code and say, hey gents, let's focus on this one, throw our resources, everything else, get that developed, to a point and level where we are happy and satisfied on whatever it is, and maybe even just get outside investment in that. Then we go on and we develop the other things.
I think it would be actually unfair to other students.
Yeah.
For example,
Hence instead of being silly,
Yeah, I love, for example, soccer.
Sure.
Now the college decides to focus on rugby and then, something else. But I think this has to do with resources again. If one would say, let's focus on this particular two sporting codes, develop like you've indicated,
Sure.
until we are fully satisfied, then we focus on the other side. So what we are trying to do as an institution, we're saying, even if we are moving as slow as we are moving now in terms of expansion of that, we are saying we are trying to accommodate everybody. Be it netball, be it basketball, be it ladies, male soccer, we are trying to accommodate everybody because we want all students to feel part of the college at the same time.
Understood. No, I understand. As I say, I was just digressing and misbehaving a while. We've got some questions, but just before we go to those questions on this one as well, still on the sports thing, I want to use the term legends, but former sports stars, soccer players, cricket players, rugby players, and all those kind of things around the community, possibly for them to come through and impart what they have learned and gotten, and maybe even take on coaching roles within the sports. I'm talking about within SWGC, where, and I'll tell you where I'm coming from with this one. If you look at it, rugby, for instance, a lot of the affluent high schools and everything else, they've got former rugby players coaching their first teams. Teachers will focus on teaching. I'm a teacher. I'm not a coach. Do you understand what I'm saying? So why now do you want me to go and coach and all those kind of things? Bring in a former rugby player, who was a former student at the school and whatever it may be. Is it something that SWGC would be open to doing?
Definitely so.
Yeah.
We would. But what I'm saying is, or what I maybe need to indicate is that we also have external people who are assisting, in terms of the other sporting codes. At times, you get to a level where this lady was playing netball in 2017, at an exit level. She's saying, I'm available to coach the college team.
So your former students,
our former students would come on board and then negotiate with us, even if somewhere we are not able to assist each other. But definitely they are coming. It's something that we're actually working on with Mr. Gula in terms of, getting an external people from there and they come in, assist us where possible. Yeah. Because remember, even if those students came and then assisted, at any given time, the person might say, I got a job at KZN, I am leaving. So we might be suffering at that particular time.
Sure.
So it's something that we are actually working on.
That then leads me to your alumni involvement in your alumni program. Firstly, SWGC, do you guys have an alumni program?
I can say we are in the process of resuscitating that.
Okay.
We are in the process of resuscitating that. I think 2 weeks back, if I'm not mistaken, we had a meeting with previous students, trying to explain to them to say this is the purpose of this structure having to exist within the institution. Because we are looking at the level of those students. This is our view, as student support. We are looking at programs where we would be able to meet with those who studied at SWGC, who are managers somewhere, who are holding senior positions, who are working at that particular company, to come on board and say, at my company, at my company, I need 10 interns.
Sure.
Now we say, pull
from here,
from SWGC, So our view in terms of alumni association is that we need to see more placements of our students, be it during the teaching, during the year or after. But we need to see more of our students being placed.
But in terms of your former students, I mean, let's just say you got former students that have gone on and started very successful businesses and everything else. You guys have a problem in terms of funding. In terms of pulling those students in and saying, hey, gents, how do you assist with fundraising? How do you assist, with obtaining resources and whatever it is in terms of that? Not just, the whole placement thing of students.
True. Within the college, there's what we call new business development unit.
Yeah.
They deal with the sitters, they deal with the funding. So if I understand your question correctly, in an instance where a company would come and say, I need 10 students, but my problem will be funding these particular students. Now we'll be saying to the new business development, here is company A, which is willing to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you able to source out funding somewhere within the CETA sector? And then in an instance where that is successful, then everything joins together.
No, I got that. I mean, you know, the new business thing, and unfortunately enough, we had Mr. Ntlantla here with us yesterday.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
But I'm talking as an alumni student. I have, you know, certain skills within getting funding for you guys for whatever it is, whatever project. I mean, you need kit for your soccer team,
For example.
you know, and you're thinking of doing fundraising, whatever. I can assist with that whole thing. So hence I say that, you know, the alumni program saying that, hey, come guys, if we can all pull in our resources before we go to the CETAs and everyone else, former students helping, you know, every single one of us, you know, throwing in our little bricks and whatever it is to help build and expand the college in terms of that.
Yeah, no, you are right. I'm saying, with us having to resuscitate this baby of ours, those things would be coming in now, you know, because I do not want to believe that when a child is born on Monday, by Tuesday the child is able to speak. You understand? So those are the things that we should be looking forward. You know, as I said, we just resuscitated this child of ours. So as time goes by, we should be looking into that, because we know that we have actually capable people outside who are actually waiting for us to come and knock and say, listen, this is the project, can you help? This is this, can we help? Because I can tell you, I believe that somewhere, as time goes by, and very soon, those people will be coming through and say, I studied at SWGC, this is what I have to offer now at SWGC.
True. Got you. His name is Mr. Tshepo Madubung. We have a couple of questions that we're going to go run through. And yeah, if you got any questions as well, 0740801136, do WhatsApp it to us and we will pose it through to Mr. Madubung. Going to take a bit of a break. We'll be back with more of his questions.
The only show that brings you the truth from real people on touching issues. The Open Book on K Radio, radio for the people.
His name is Beast alongside Tribal. I'm so ghetto. I am ghetto. Kulusenge spy 2 spy course. Ana get to next more. Yo! Hey, Urisa guy. His name is Tshepo Madubung. The manager for student support services at the Southwest Gauteng College. He's based at the head office, Komolapo. Go through there. Visit him. I'll tell it there. All right, some of your questions that we have gotten for Tate Madubung. Here's one here. It says that what do you do to help a student who encounters a problem with NSFAS, whereby they only get funding for transport and fees but not accommodation?
In relation to that, there are prescripts that needs to be followed.
Yeah.
Clear. The NSFAS says you can't allocate accommodation and transport at the same time. We need to share this piece of pie. You know?
Tshepo. Oh. Hold on. Earlier on, we were just talking, there's that whole radius thing.
Yes.
Within 10 kilometers, I mean, come on, for transport. 10 kilometers and beyond, sharp. We will try assist you. Right. And there was that thing earlier on when we were just talking about this, is students that come from afar and they come through.
Mm-hmm.
And Tate will say, but I have accommodation.
Yeah, the issue, I understand the question.
Yeah.
The issue is, maybe if I need to outline the process, how it goes. It is not Tshepo Madubung as the manager who must determine what needs to happen in terms of funding within the institution. There's what we call College Financial Aid Committee. That needs to be formed at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
You know, to look into the issue of NSFAS for the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at, as the committee, you look at the allocation given to a college. To say you have this amount of money for the entire year. You look at the number of students that you are expecting to enroll for that particular year. You compare the two. If I'm giving this amount of money, would I cope as an institution if I will give students accommodation and transport at the same time? For example, if you give a student probably 22,000 I'm not talking about 10 students. I'm talking about one
One
student,
student.
with 22,000 rand and transport of 6,000, for example. And I tend to give 50. If you add the total amount, you are automatically very close to your total allocation for the institution. What happens to the second semester students? So those are the things that we talk about, during the financial aid committee of the college, to say what is the best way to accommodate all students who are coming within the institutions. Hence, when students are coming through, we should be advising them or of saying, listen, we are aware that you're coming from Limpopo. There's this that you need to understand, that we will be if you qualify, we will be assisting you in terms of transport. We would not be able to assist you with accommodation, because we are looking at accommodating more students to be coming to an institution rather than assisting minority of students.
Sure.
But of course, we look into deeper cases such as that. They do come to the committee. We look into that to say, is it okay for us to assist this particular student and don't assist this one? I can tell you now, it is true that we are not assisting students with private accommodation funding. It is true. We are looking at the money that we are receiving with the intention of spreading it across to accommodate more students to come to college. So
Okay.
if you are spending this amount of money again, for example, if you are spending 500 for transport for a month, and the calculations that you are going to get might be saying 400 rand, that is actually a subsidy to assist you to be able to come to college. We are not giving you exact money that you are spending for transport. Otherwise, if we do that, I can tell you, the allocation of the college will be exhausted within a short space of time. Come second semester, you don't have money to support the very students who are coming from first semester. What happens to the institution? We are now talking about maladministration in my own concept. We are talking about being irresponsible of allocating money to students.
Sure.
You understand? So what we're trying to say to our students, please understand that we need to assist more students to come to college other than assisting minority of students. And we understand, of course, that there are different dynamics, of students ended up saying they need accommodation or ended up being in a situation where they need accommodation. But we're saying, bring those issues forward through student support officials at campuses. We will look into that as the committee, and the final decision will come out of that.
I'm gonna try just to kind of simplify this and guide me, please.
Okay.
The financial assistance that is there, priority is to pay fees,
That is priority.
right? So if your fees are 2,000 rand a month and financial aid gives 4,000 rand, 2,000 rand is gonna go to paying your fees, right? So your tuition and books and all those things, we are going to sort that out first.
Yes.
And what is left from the 4,000 that was accumulated, and I'm just giving a figure, I mean, it's not that.
Yeah.
And what is left there will say, okay, so you spend 500 rand on transport, we're able to give you 300 rand.
Exactly.
We're able to subsidize you in terms of that one.
That's
thing.
what is happening.
So I guess there's been a misconception, misunderstanding in terms of financial aid, that as much as SWGC was saying it's a fee-free institution, it doesn't mean that I'm going to educate you, feed you, clothe you, bring you, and all those kind of things. We need to understand that as well.
Yeah, that's what we are trying to do. Remember, when students are enrolled at the beginning of the year, there's what we call induction, where we give them all this information that has to do with the campus or the college. That's where now we are saying to students, please understand, this is the process that will be followed in terms of funding. We are expected by the department to prioritize tuition. It will not be correct if I will allocate you transport and I don't pay for your fees. But we are saying, let us pay your fees, and with the remaining money, we will then subsidize on transport. But we are saying to our students, we understand the backgrounds that they are coming from, but please let them understand that this is with the intention of assisting them to be able to reach college.
Got you, man. Second question that we do have here: in a case where a student does get their fees paid up in full and they end up owing the college, how do you, first and foremost, how does that happen? You know what I mean? Or how do you help a student support?
In an instance where a student has applied for funding,
Mm-hmm.
but if I understand your question correctly, and then ultimately the student tends to owe the college. If that, it should not happen. If that is happening,
Yeah.
it should not happen. If that happens, I would then advise those who are affected, to visit campus, finance officials, and then try to understand the dynamic around that. To say, the NSFAS has paid, for example, but I'm still owing fees. But there are areas where it is true that a student has been funded by NSFAS. Let me make a practical example where we have N4 student, a new student who's doing 4 subjects. This particular student will then pass 3 subjects. Remember, NSFAS has funded 4 subjects. This particular student will pass 3 and fail 1. Automatically, this subject goes for part-time, and you owe that particular subject. You need to
You're
pay.
responsible for
It
paying
is your responsibility as a student to make sure that you pay that particular subject. NSFAS will not pay for that particular subject. You understand? So if you go to an exit level, for example, you are doing N6. NSFAS has funded you for level N4, N5, and N6. At N6 level, you are doing 4. NSFAS funded you for 4 subjects. And then you fail 1 subject, for argument's sake. And you come back, yes, we will fund you for that particular subject. That is within the NSFAS guidelines that we need to do that. But we don't pay for a subject that you have failed. It is your responsibility. I always say to students, if you want to be paid for NSFAS, pass. But if you start to fail, please note that it is your responsibility to pay for that particular subject.
Do we look at the circumstances around the person failing, or do we just say you failed the subject or you failed your course, therefore?
You see, this funding, it's a public funding. And if we are going to, if this is the right word to use, if we are going to use the emotions in terms of funding, we'll have problems. We need to follow policies. We need to follow what the policy document says to us. We are saying if you have failed this particular subject that was funded by NSFAS, unfortunately, NSFAS will not continue funding this subject. And guess what? If I will fail a program of 20,000 in 2018 and I come back next year and say, I failed that because every day I had this kind of a problem, please fund me for the very subjects in 2019. How many students need access of that particular money? So look at it from that particular side to say, across the country, if that would apply, what would happen within the education sector in the country?
Understood.
And especially when coming to funding side, it means within a short period of time, billions of rand will be used for this particular student who could not make it, and then they have to pay for them to repeat those particular subjects.
Quick question, just on this one. Do you guys have a fees office or a financial aid office within the campus?
In campuses, we have student support officials who are dealing with funding as well.
So there isn't a dedicated office that deals with funding for the college as a whole, which student support sits there. So if I've got issues with funding or financial issues, I go to student support.
If you have any other issue in relation to funding, that is student support at your campus.
Okay.
Student support at campus, they liaise with financial aid office at head office.
Okay.
Now, there's a group there's a team at head office which are specifically looking into financial aid, but at a central point. That's when now they will be communicating with NSFAS. That's when now they will be dealing with the system and everything. So if there's any other issue that student might be encountering, be it that they can't solve, we're always saying to them, go to SRC. If you can't go to SRC, go to student support. Ask for a student support official at the campus. They will assist you. Where things are not easy to be solved at the campus level, officials, they know where to knock. And then ultimately, they might even reach my attention. But most of them, they don't reach my attention because the processes are clear.
It gets sorted out at whatever.
The processes are clear.
I want to refer the student to the on the campus student support services. Go through there because I still do feel that I think there's more to this question. In terms of, yes, your fees have been paid up, but you're owing the college Go and explain the circumstances. Did you fail, maybe? As you say, because I mean, that could be another one right there. But I think also, as students, we need to understand the terms and conditions for financial aid. What are those terms and conditions? And I'd love to think that there's a contract that is given to me, which I sign as an indication that I understand this agreement that I'm getting into with you.
Yeah, you see, there's what we call schedule of particulars. That is, in simple terms, a contract between a student and NSFAS. That is the new process now, especially which is online.
Yeah.
We are saying to students, and we are appealing to them that they need to sign those contracts online.
Sure.
One might not understand on how to go about signing the contract online. We are saying go to student support, they will assist you. If you knock, they will open. You don't even take 2 minutes to understand what is it that you need to sign for under NSFAS online. And I agree with you. I normally say, and I'm still saying to my students, that if there's something that you don't understand, there is no stupid question. There is no stupid question. Go there and say, ma'am, I need to explain something to you. I might not explain it the right way, but this is the situation that I find myself in.
Sure.
So that both of us, we don't look at each other as if they are there, we are here. We need to be saying, are you okay? Because I was saying to my colleagues the other time, and the principal was there as well. Actually, the principal was saying, we need to work to a level where we are saying, this college must be a student-centered institution.
Yeah.
So in my understanding, when the principal was explaining that, I said to myself, it means on daily basis, you must be saying, what is it that I did to support students? So in anything that you will come to my office with, let it be student-centered.
Sure.
Ask me that, do you think this will benefit students? Let's twist each other's hand and see if indeed this will assist students. But we're saying for those students who are experiencing a challenge with analyzing their financial statement, let them go to campuses and ask for, finance officials. They will play around that challenge.
And assist them.
Definitely they will get assistance.
Sure.
If they can't get assistance at that level, the officials knows where to knock.
Got that, man. So use and utilize, don't abuse, guys. Use your student support services on all your campuses. The last one that we do have here, resource centers. Who gets access to your resource centers? Are there any specifics around that?
All campuses have resource centers. For you to have access to resource center, be an enrolled student at SWGC.
Sure.
Enjoy the free internet. Enjoy everything within the resource center. The study materials, the newspapers and everything, they are there. So access, for example, a student is able to leave Mulapo campus and have access at Rodiport West Resource Center.
So as long as I have a SWGC student card.
As long as you have SWGC student card and present yourself as an enrolled student, we'll give you access to the resource center.
What's in your resource centers, if I may ask that?
We have study materials there, the reference books and everything. We have computers there.
Yeah.
Remember, there are those who might have, be given assignment or something like that, and they don't have access of computers at home. They are able to visit resource center, complete their assignments.
Sure. What time do campuses generally open and close every day?
We opened from 7:30 until 4 o'clock. 7:30 until 4 o'clock.
Okay.
But in terms of the resource centers, we have came to an agreement. When SRC were saying to us, can't you extend operating hours of resource centers?
Yeah.
We spoke, and ultimately we agreed that we would open the resource centers until around 5 o'clock, 5:30 the latest. Come on Saturdays, we are trying as well.
Yeah.
To accommodate those who will be coming on Saturdays, because we also have classes on Saturdays.
Okay.
So we extend hours until probably 5:30 for access as well.
But currently, Monday to Friday, 7:30 till 4.
For Friday, because the college is closing at 1:30.
Okay.
So that is the arrangement.
Yeah. And I guess the only reason, or rather, I'd hope the only reason why you guys are operating within those hours is, once again, you don't have the human capital to keep it running for longer and more days going.
you see, like I'm saying, we need to understand the fact that, let's say, for example, a student would request that a resource center be opened until 7 o'clock.
Sure.
We also need to look at the safety of those students who might be at campus at 7 o'clock, who are, for example, within a radius of 10 kilometers,
Sure.
who should be walking between Mlapo and maybe Tshepo. How safe are those students? Because we don't want to keep our students until it's dark or something like that. Then tomorrow, we are now being taken by surprise when you say, this particular student was raped. This particular student was, those are the things that when we twist each other's hands with SRC, we also try to show them the other side of the coin to say, look, we are prepared. Yes, we are prepared to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But please also look at this and this and this.
There's a transport issue. There are issues that
there
are
are issues
arising,
around it. There are issues around it. But we are trying by means, to avail everything that we can. There's especially as youngsters, there's this Wi-Fi hotspots.
Sure.
And we're saying if you can't have access to the resource center, I mean, there's Wi-Fi.
hotspots and all.
Yeah. If you have your Android phones, you are able to have access, research whatever that you need to research. And if you need to print, go ask for printing. We will assist you.
Okay, all right. Understand that, man. The last question, and this is just from me here. Special needs students, are they accommodated within SWGC? And this is a bit of a loaded question from my side, because I've had the opportunity of walking around some of your campuses. From where I was like, yeah, it doesn't look to be that friendly for special needs students.
Yeah, we have those students around campuses, particularly if you visit Dobsonville. We have disability unit there. You visit the Rodport campus, we have disability unit there. It might be the issue of infrastructure, but it's something that we are actually working on. Remember, back then, we did not have much of disability students accessing our facilities, our institutions. So it's something that the department says, these students must be part of you. So we are at an inclusive level where if this particular student who's maybe using a wheelchair should be accommodated within the institution. Those are the things that we are actually working on. If we need to put 10, 4, 5 ramps to accommodate those students who are using wheelchairs, this is what we are trying to do. But I can safely say to you, we are trying by all means to support the students, and we are actually learning from them. At times when we have meetings with them, we ask them, how can we help them? If they say we need to buy a particular software, we ask them, where do we find that particular software? But it's work in progress, and the number is increasing. And the more the number is increasing, it means we need to have more of the infrastructure, having to accommodate those different disabilities. But we are saying if they need to enroll at our campuses, let them come, inquire. If they are comfortable, if whatever that we are offering to them, they are comfortable, we become friends. And maybe just to mention this, that when you look at 4 or 5 staff members that are employed within the disability units, they were students in those campuses.
It's interesting,
There were students in those campuses. They were giving us difficult times. Especially me. They were giving us difficult times, but not in a bad way. They made us to realize some of the things that we were not aware of. And I can tell you, currently there are staff members there. So what I do when I go to those campuses, I ask them to say, "How is the situation? Now you are in my shoes. How is the situation?" But us and them, we are working very closely to improve those things.
You guys have declared 2018 within your unit as the year of student support. How's that going for you guys?
What we are saying is I have actually touched on that earlier on to say, when we said this is the year of student support, we want when a student leaves your office, the student must not look like he or she is not sure where she's coming from. If a student came crying, the student must walk out smiling. We are saying if a student is just idling around the campus, we want them to come to your office as student support and say to you, we are okay. We are okay. So we are looking at a level where we are supporting these students wholeheartedly, if I can use that word, wholeheartedly. We need to be saying, are we relevant? Are we responding enough to students?
Yeah.
So far, all is going well, and they are coming with great ideas, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Even some of these ideas, they need funding. We will try to see where we can grab some and then assist them. But I can tell you, so far, everything is moving well.
Out of 10, rate the first 6 months of the year in terms of when you guys started out this year and you said this is the year of student support. Out of 10.
We are sitting at 6.
Mrena.
We are sitting at 6. I can tell you, I don't want to say we are sitting at a 9.
Yeah.
We are sitting at 6 because we have so many plans. We have so many plans that we haven't rolled out. So we want by probably September, October, to be saying to people, this is what we have planned for the entire year of 2018. And definitely in 10 months or 11 months, we have done all of them. And to the dot.
Your message to the students, or actually before you give your as part of your message to your students, how do I assist you as a student? As much as you're here to support me, but as a student, how do I assist you so that you can give me 150%?
What we are saying is in different campuses, there's what we call mass meetings with students. That's where I normally say, take opportunity as a student, take a platform, tell us how you want us to assist you. Because if we are going to have to plan something for you, you might not even like it, and we are not going to be relevant.
Yeah.
So in every campus, we have those that might be sitting monthly or that might be sitting weekly or something like that.
Sure.
That's where now we are saying, don't take me as student support official. Take me as your friend. Tell me how you want it. Tell me, give me the initiatives and ultimately let's sit around the table and say, how are we going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the entire students within the campus? That's what we are doing.
His name is Tshepo Madubung. Max.
Yes.
Komenko.
My parents told me that I'm Max. I'm told so.
Yeah, I know. Hey, yeah. You have set out to ensure that any student that comes into SWGC has a peaceful and very remarkable stay at the campus. You've rated that at 6 out of 10. Clearly, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Correct.
From where you're sitting. We wish you all the best in terms of doing that, man. And I think and I hope that this has been very informative, in terms of the students and everything else. And that any questions that we were not able to answer today, that we didn't get through today, student support services officers on all your campuses, they are there. Go through, speak to your student support services, and you should be able, you will be able to assist them. Have the conversations with them. Let's engage in constructive conversations with Tshepo and his team. I still do think 14,000. No, doesn't make sense. Rawe, pula. No. Pula ine le batswana fela. Ha se nna girileng.
No, thank you very much for the invite. We really appreciate. But we are saying to our students, we wish them all the best, because some of them, they are sitting for final exams. And those who will be joining us, we are saying, come, let's talk. Come, let's talk. This is the year of student support.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
All right, man.
The Open Book, giving you the truth and solutions only on K Radio.
Staring at two different views on your window.